Recording. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the D&D YouTube channel, Tabletop Trolls. I'm joined here by Colin. My name is Thomas. This channel is going to be all about D&D, or attempt to be all about D&D.
Yeah, we'll see how we stick to that. If it's actually all about D&D, or if we just side tangent about random stuff.
It'll be side tangents.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So we're going to go and do... The plan is to do character creations, campaign creations, stuff like that. Handful of podcasts, talking with a couple of our friends who have been building campaigns. Maybe giving the couple of looks into those campaigns as we're actually playing. I know we wanted to do that to start, and then I messed everything up.
Yeah, we didn't have the mics for that, but it's all right.
We'll get there.
Yeah. As far as the plan for this episode goes, we're kind of just picking each other's brains about random D&D stuff, like making campaigns, characters, things like that. Even a little bit of combat and some of the new changes and stuff. So we'll see where we end up, but it should be a fun time.
Yep, and that's how most of the podcasts are going to go, I think. They're going to be like, oh, how'd we do in last session kind of thing. And
I feel like they're going to have a general idea of what we want to talk about and probably never hit those points. So
exactly.
We are two people that will just talk forever and actually never come to anything. But
yeah, kind of like what we're doing right now.
Yes. We'll see how much of this makes it into the video.
I think all of that will make it into the video.
Probably.
I mean, I can't edit worth crap. I don't know what you're talking about.
You want to ask the first question?
Where do you think is the best level to start at? Like,
I think I've always been drawn to level 3 starting as a campaign. Level 1 just seems like you'll die to a bunch of rats. And, like, the adventures that I usually plan, it's like, how do I justify having 5 people that are like literally 4 hit points if you're a wizard?
Yeah.
Into a campaign where I want cool fights and stuff to happen without them just dying right away, you know?
Yeah. I think that starting at level 3 is really cool because you get all the subclasses and stuff, but on top of that, you have the meat on the bones to actually do the stuff.
Right.
But I guess it also depends for me, how many players do I have?
That's a good point. Yeah.
So in the current campaign with you, we have 5 players.
Yeah.
And we have a good spread of classes.
Right.
But in my other campaign, when I had first started, I started them all out at level 3 that had 10 players.
Ooh, yeah, I think that's tough. I feel like 10 players is just a lot to handle in general.
It is.
So, like, even if you start them all at level 1, you can't throw big things at them because they'll just die.
Yeah.
So, like, even starting at level 3, it's like, well, now you have so many hit points and so many attacks. What do you throw at that group of 10 players, you know?
Well, on top of that is when you have the starting out level for those 10 players, we started at 3. Mm-hmm. And it gave them all meat on the bones to actually go out and do the combat, and it made sure that they weren't going to be afraid of getting into combat. They were all brand new players. Like there was like 3, maybe 4 that actually had some experience, but other than that, I had to pretty much teach. So they were all really shy with the role play aspect of D&D too.
I feel like 10 players is like hard enough on itself, but if they're all new, you're just it almost sounds like pulling teeth to like get anything to happen.
It was in the beginning, but they all really enjoyed the plot points
and
the storyline, and it was about halfway through where they were really understanding the role play aspect of it. So they are all the current campaign that I'm not even DMing, that I'm actually a player in now. So woot woot.
Not a forever DM.
So we're playing that, and it's going so much more smoothly because everyone knows combat now.
You were the guinea pig DM.
I was the guinea pig DM for that, and
it's a blessing and a curse because you get to feel like you're accomplishing something, but then everyone else reaps the reward of what you set up, and it's like, oh man,
I want to play this campaign. What am I doing?
Yeah.
But honestly, I'm a player in the current campaign or the other campaign, and I find that to be just as fun. but on the side, I'm also the co-DM for that campaign. So if the current DM, he's a brand new DM. He was a player.
Yeah, how many players are in that?
Oh, still 10.
Oh, it's still all 10 of you.
So he's a brand new DM. So that's why I was like, you're going to need help.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I kind of do the same thing to you in our campaign currently.
Yeah, because there's so many rules and stuff that I'm just like, I don't know if I want to follow that or not.
And I'm like, this is what it's written as. I'm not saying you have to do it, but here's the rules.
Yeah. It's always good to have someone say, even if it's like, well, this is how rules are written, like, DM has final say, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm never challenging your ruling. Yeah. I'm always just like, hey, this is what it says to do, and this is like, I'm okay with whatever you choose, but this is what
that's exactly what I'm doing to the other DM. It's like he'll say like, roll an athletics check, and I'm sitting here like, could probably be better as an acrobatics check. It's not like he's lifting anything, he's flying through the air and trying to land on something. I'm sitting here like, that's definitely an acrobatics check, but whatever you want to tell him to roll, you tell him to roll it.
Usually in those scenarios, I'll give them like, all right, how are you trying to do this where you can make it an athletics check or an acrobatics check? Like,
the more you describe an action to me, the easier it is for me to take from that list and say, that's what you're rolling.
Right. So usually if I have like, obviously like fighters or barbarians or whatever, and they're trying to do something, I'm like, well, how are you doing it? Because you can either try this as an acrobatics check, or you can try it as an athletics check. But if you're doing it athletics, obviously it's less dexterous. It's more just like, I'm jumping as far as I can.
Yeah, and I see athletics more as like lifting, running, jumping.
Yeah.
But I see acrobatics as like, I'm going to jump off this roof.
Right. It's like, well, how are you landing? Well, I'm gonna
land acrobatically. Well, then you're gonna roll an acrobatics check.
Right. You want to not break both your legs? All right, let's roll acrobatics. But
yeah. So another thing about the where to start is when to level up, because you always have those players that are like, when are we leveling up? And you're sitting there like, you guys haven't done jack crap.
Yeah, I definitely. Usually when I'm planning a campaign, I have milestones in mind of like, all right, you guys have done this, you level up now. But when they don't do the things you want them to do, it's like, it's slow. Well, you played 5 sessions, you're level 3, It's like, you want more.
You've definitely gone out and killed a bunch of shit anyway.
Right.
Or crap. No, I'm going to have to start a swear jar.
I mean, it depends. I think that one's all right.
Sugar honey iced tea.
Yeah. I think
it stands for.
Right. Yeah. I think as far as leveling goes, I kind of hate the XP system.
It's kind of dumb.
Yeah, because I mentioned this earlier. I saw a video and it's like, well, if XP is the only way to level up, there should be no wizarding schools.
Yeah.
There should just be a bunch of people running around murdering goblins.
Yeah.
There should be no schools to teach you anything, because you don't gain experience from reading. You gain it from killing things.
Yeah. I really hate that specifically. I started actually like doing, on top of the milestones, I started doing like, you're trying to improve some skills. That's also going to get you guys closer to level ups.
That makes sense.
The more you like, I want to work on this specific part of animal handling.
Right.
But I want to work with my animal, my pet, to get more proficiency with that pet. So every time I roll an animal handling on that pet, I have a proficiency bonus with that pet.
Oh, okay.
So like, you have animal handling, it's your pet already, so you get your proficiency bonus, but you're spending the time and you're working with them. I'm going to give you an added bonus for that.
That's fair.
So
makes sense.
So it's not going to run away, because you're bonding with it.
Yeah, that checks out.
So stuff like that. And I do that with like construction things, like if they're building things as they go along. Even if it's just with the tinkerer tools making small things, I kind of avoid that specifically. It's more like yeah, I'm going to start practicing building houses. And I'm going to be like, you're going to do what now?
I'm a random carpenter now.
Yep, I'm turning into a carpenter.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be like, I'm going to reward that every time that you want to build a house. You're going to get better at
building
it.
a
So,
house. I mean, that's fair. Yeah, I feel like stuff like that also makes it feel less like just a random spike of power. Like,
yeah.
It feels more progression of like, oh, I'm building up these feats, these like skills and stuff, instead of just like, oh, I killed 100 goblins and boom, now I'm suddenly better at everything.
Yep. So in the campaign that I'm a player in, I chose a paladin, and I've always liked the idea of multi-classing. Mm-hmm. And so obviously I'm going to go into a paladin bard, because
of course,
why would you not?
Right.
So
that makes sense.
The way I'm kind of building that segue is that I'm already starting practicing with a musical instrument, because we just hit level 3, and we started at 1, but we wanted to do a rapid succession and level up. So the first session, even if we did something really minute, we got through a plot point, that was the level up.
Okay.
And then the next session, we leveled up at the end of that. And the third session, we leveled up after that.
Oh, you guys are flying through those levels.
Well, it was just the first 3
sessions. To get you from level 1 to level 3 or 4.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So, because on top of that, he gave us dragons. He gave us dragon eggs at level 1.
Oh.
And so when we hit level 3, that's when they hatched into like being little lizards.
Yeah.
So.
Well, what are they called?
Wormlings or something like that, I think.
Is it?
I think
you're right.
I think it's wormlings.
I think you're right.
So he wanted to do those a little bit quicker, but we broke it up like, yeah, this is what you did in the first day, and then you just spent like a week traveling off time. So the eggs were about to hatch already when we got them, but we like made the timeline. They were jumps.
Can we call this campaign "How to Train Your Dragon"? Or is that trademarked?
For copyright purposes, I think we called it. What did we call that campaign? I think we called it the Dragonlight campaign.
Okay.
Whereas you guys that I'm hosting is the witch hunt.
Yeah.
Is what I called it.
Yeah.
On the Discord channels, at least. Right. I mean,
while we're going into campaigns and stuff like that, I can ask one of my questions now.
Ooh.
So one of my questions is, how much time do you put into your D&D campaign? Like actually planning things out, putting notes on stuff, and like making maps and all that,
So the first campaign that I did, with the group of 10, we'll call that one The Pirate's Life, because that's what it was kind of based off of.
Yeah.
I put a lot of time into like what races are in what area kind of thing. Like I put a lot of time into looking at where they would want to go and being able to describe where the bigger stuff was.
Yeah.
And like even just like towns, because I never really did town maps.
Okay.
And I'm starting that now with you guys, because you guys complained. So I'm doing a lot of town maps.
I'm just showing you a better way.
It is so much better.
Yeah.
So
theater of the mind is great and all, but also when you can just like lay a map down and be like, what are you gonna do? Here's a map. It's so much better.
So much better.
Yeah.
So I had taken a lot of time, because I had one big automatically generated map, and I just generated after generated after generated until I found one that I liked, and it was a world map. It wasn't like something that was just one island or one mainland piece. It was just one big map, and you could zoom in, you could add emblems, you could add towns.
Speaking of maps, map making videos soon. We're working on those.
Yeah.
Random plug.
Yeah. Sponsor us. That brings me to our sponsor. We don't have one.
No sponsors here. 8 subscribers strong.
Yeah. Shout out to you, Aaron.
Let's go. He's a real one.
He's the best one.
Yep.
He'll be joining us. So
eventually, yeah.
I added emblems, and it was just like little circles with like a skull and crossbones in it, or like a mountain or a volcano. And so I started out on the open seas.
Okay.
And I had thought of names, characters, essential NPCs that they were going to be meeting.
Did you write any of it down?
No.
Oh.
I wrote some of the bigger stuff down, like
Okay.
names of the NPCs that they were going to be talking to the most, like Chef Boyardee, who I voiced in a French accent, obviously.
Of course, yes.
And then Marcus, he was old. He kind of always talked with his glasses down by the bridge of his nose, and holy crap, I'm blind because I can't see anything when I do that, but new glasses, you understand. So I had wrote those things down, and I knew when they were going to die. I knew when they were going to give them something to do. I knew when I was going to feed them bits and information, and I had all of the main characters were characters from a previous D&D story that I was part of.
Oh, I see.
So I knew how they were going to play.
So you were that DM in all the memes. It's like, oh, I get to look behind the DM screen, and it's just blank paper.
Exactly.
Okay.
I started doing it a little bit more with the notes when I was like trying to figure out what to throw at people.
Yeah.
Because you got 10 players, you don't know what you can throw at them because you have to limit damage at low level. You can't use... So I ended up throwing... I think I threw at you guys in the witch hunt. I threw you guys a dead beholder, the death tyrant.
Yeah.
I just didn't use any of its stuff.
Yeah, you threw something at us that should have absolutely one-shot all of us.
All of you, yes.
All of us. We're level, what, 4?
Yeah, in that
and
campaign.
There's 5 of us. I think that thing should have killed us in 2 rounds, max.
Yep. And I started having to throw the bigger stuff at them at low level.
Because there's so many of them?
Yeah. I couldn't throw... I started throwing a handful of medium things, but it was just taking so long because they were all new players that combat was just dragging and dragging and dragging. And it didn't help that none of them were prepped for their next turn either. See, you get 10 people going, you should be ready by your next turn.
Yeah, I mean, you have, 10 people plus the enemies, so you have 11, 12 rounds before it gets to you. I mean, what do you really have as a martial character? I slapped the thing again, Yeah.
I mean, it could be I'm going to go up and I'm going to hit them in this specific spot.
So while we're on this, actually, this kind of ties into one of my other questions. I know. But it's boss fights and how you run them, because I have these ideas of how I want to run my boss fights, and it's giving them channel attacks where this area is going to get hit in 1 round. So you have 1 round to get out of that area, and then he'll do a big slash or something in that area, and you'll take a bunch of damage.
If you're not out.
Right. So it gives people incentive to be moving around, right?
That's not bad.
Yeah. So same thing with wizards or stuff. It's all right, you can see him channeling a big spell above this area. If you're in this area, you're going to get hit by a fireball next round.
I like that, but I think I would add on to that. I would have the BBEG be say it's a big old dragon.
Yeah.
But there's someone riding the dragon.
Oh, okay.
So the dragon doesn't have any ranged attacks. I mean, it
breath
does.
Weapon, but yeah.
But if you take that breath weapon away, and so it's just focusing on slashing at what's close.
And then the person on top's throwing something or something like that.
So
spells.
it takes the dragon's turn is just clawing and stabbing that side kind of thing and biting. Whereas that guy, if you take him out, then you won't have any more of the channel attacks.
I like that. You can do it similar with other creatures and stuff by having minions or just having he's got 4 arms and his back arms are prepping or something, and then he's still fist fighting you with the other 2,
And it would be really cool to see I'm gonna take that arm off.
Yeah, and then it if you do that he can no longer do this move or something.
Yeah. That would be... I actually really like that, having a 4-arm creature back casting something. Yeah. That's really smart. I always try and have my players describe where you're going to aim for.
Right.
Because on some things, it matters.
Yeah. Beholders, if you poke their eyes out, what are they going to do,
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, so... I don't know. I've always thought boss fights or just fighting in D&D in general, sometimes it just gets really stale of I'm going to stand at the same spot and I'm going to keep hitting the same way.
Yeah.
Where this is all right, I have to think about my movement now, right?
Yeah, and I think I really enjoy seeing rogues work now, because in the Dragon Light campaign is what we're gonna call it. There's 2 rogues, but there's also like 2 frontline characters. There's 1 cleric, and then there's just a bunch of miscellaneous spellcasters and stuff.
Okay, yeah.
So it's a lot more diverse than we had last session, where we had like, we had some druids, we had some like
duplicates of a lot of things.
Yep, we had 2 druids, and I think that was the only duplicate.
Okay.
Maybe there was more. I don't remember all their classes. I was the DM. So
well, there was 10 of them. So
there was.
You get a little bit of a pass.
But this time we have 2 artificers, we have 2 sorcerers, we have a paladin, a barbarian, we have 2 rogues, and 1 other one. I think there's 9 total.
So my question is, with that, are those duplicates similar builds, or are they different? Because I feel like,
I mean, they're not like the same race, but some of them, the artificers are both battlesmith, they're the armor ones, whatever those ones are. And they were like, we get our mage armor, we're slapping that stuff on you and our barbarian.
That's fair.
Because it makes sense.
I think you might need proficiency with it. In like the rule set, obviously it's your friend's campaign, he can do whatever he wants.
I think the armor, it's not mage armor. I don't remember exactly what it is. It's just an AC bonus.
Okay.
To
because I know artificers can also just make magic items too.
Yes.
So they can give your armor pluses and stuff like that.
So that's really cool to see, because it works so well. There's me, my name is Mordecai in it, and there's Nadia, she's the barbarian. We're the only 2 frontline. Yeah. But it helps because we have a cleric.
Well, you have so many backcasters that,
that
before you actually die, you killed the thing.
Yeah, and being a paladin, I have healing stuff.
Yeah.
Technically, I have a whole vat of healing potion on my back right now, because we convinced
as normal D&D goes, we didn't do something wrong, we just convinced them.
We did it right.
So
we went into this alchemy shop, and the dude's not a licensed alchemist in the world. So there was going to be a raid, and I was walking in as the raid was like starting outside.
You took shady health potion from this guy. Because he's not licensed, so you don't know if it's actually a health potion.
Pretty much. So I walked in with my group. They were already inside, and I walked in and was like, hey, you guys got like a bunch of people about to raid this place, right? And he goes, oh, crap, I got to get out of here. And I went, I'll handle this. And meanwhile, one of the rogues, she was starting to make a license up.
Okay.
Forging a license.
Yeah.
So I walked out there, and I was like, so what are you guys doing here? They're like, well, we're raiding this place because it's not a real practice.
It's an illegal potion store.
Exactly. And I was like, well, I just threw out a crap ton of acronyms. And I'm talking like all the fire science and EMS crap that I have stored away in my brain from our school, that I just started rattling off of them. And I ended up I think one of them was WUI, which is Wildland Urban Interface. I used it as something else. And then I used the FAA, and I used that as the Federal Alchemy Association.
Nice.
And one of them started with a P, and this is like the Paladins Protection Agency or environment or something like that with PPE. So I just started listing all of those off, and the DM, he was like, you did such a good job role playing that they just walked away. They were convinced that you were handling it. So we packed up his entire shop, and we built a shop wagon. Because we're caravanning to town right now. Because we have to take care of our dragons.
Do you have licenses for those?
No. Shh. Not important.
Yeah, like, are you going to eventually end up getting raided for having illegal pets?
I don't know, because they were given to us by a guild. So I assume they came with paperwork.
You might want to ask.
I'm going to ask that next session, actually. That's a good point. That'd be hilarious.
Get surrounded by guards. What's happening? We're arresting you. Why? Illegal dragon owning.
So he set up this campaign, and he was like, the bad guy, I'm gonna make him appear. And I warned him, if you're going to make him appear with us at low level, that you need to be able to get him out of there with the thing that he stole. And he's like, I know. And I warned him of this because I knew what was going to happen. So we ended up meeting the bad guy at low level. I mean, he stole one of the other dragons that was given to someone else. So he was going to kind of like show off, steal some of our stuff for dragons and like dip.
Yeah.
Well, I snared him.
Oh. Well, okay. Did you snare him because you saw him stealing or because you knew the DM's plan?
I snared him because I totally had forgotten that he was going to be a BBEG.
I
so
see.
The DM described there's a shady person sitting up on the side of the trail. There's 3 of them. And I went, okay. And I said, come out. And he walked out, and I, boom, snare. And it's just a simple spell, but you can't, you have to make a strength save. He failed.
Oh.
So I think it was Spectral Defiances, actually, because it's part of my subclass as the Way of the Ancients. So I ended up ensnaring him, and we just started talking.
Yeah.
And then I took his bag because I wanted to loot him.
What
and then
alignment is your paladin?
Huh?
What alignment is your paladin?
He is... So I keep good above anything else.
Okay.
And we had suspicions that they were robbers.
So like neutral good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not lawful. I just take... I think it's chaotic good is what I am.
Okay.
So I'm going to try my best to do good, but part of my character was I don't know what good is.
Oh, I was going to say like chaotic good is kind of like I value the good of like people or the good of like society over everything. Like no rules or anything like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I look at it.
Yeah.
The problem is I don't know what's good and what's not.
Gotcha.
Which is where the chaotic part is.
Yeah.
I'm also illiterate, but that's besides the point.
Gotcha.
So
that's fair.
We started we thought these guys were like highwaymen, road robbers and stuff.
Okay.
And we were like, so what have you been robbing?
Yeah.
And they started attacking us, and we killed off the 2 friends.
Oh.
And this guy's still stuck in the vines, and he gets out, and the DM's like, all right, he's going to run away. And I was like, no, he's not. And he's like, what do you mean? It's like, I have an attack of opportunity because he's walking right by me. And he goes, and he just crunkles up the paper and throws it. He's like, describe your kill. And I was like, clunk.
That's the problem with trying to make NPCs show up again is people are like, oh, we see him, we're killing him.
If he had done it the right way and not given me an attack of opportunity, it would have worked
he could have said like he was disengaging.
Yeah.
But, new DM, so I'll give him...
And not even all the players in that campaign really know about reactions and disengaging and stuff like that. It's not something that really came up because, everything would be dead.
Yeah, I mean, you had 10 people, so to add another thing onto combat, that seems like it'd bog it down even more.
So, I mean, everyone technically gets 1 reaction every round, but that's 10 more.
Yeah.
That's 10 more. Right. Someone's like, I'm going to react to that.
Most characters don't really have a reaction at low level either, except like opportunity attack. You can get a couple spells like shield or like stuff like that, but there's not a ton of reaction at low level.
Yep.
So at least in that sense, you were safe. But
yeah, until we got to level 10.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh shoot, everyone has so many things, and But
I think only one of my players actually used it, and he was like, I can deflect missile, and I was like, that's cool. I'm not going to shoot you anymore.
Well, if he gets in the way, he can deflect it for other people too.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
it's a monk.
It was
trait. Yeah.
I wasn't. It was a 1v1 between one of my NPCs and him, and I was like, you can't deflect this next one. He goes, well, why is that? It's because I'm shooting it at your feet, and it's an AoE spell.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's like, well, what do you mean? And I was like, well, there's a 5-foot radius. I'm going to shoot it at your big toe. I'm going to miss, and it's still going to blow you up.
Unless you miss the attack, you're still technically shooting him so he can deflect it. If you rolled and missed the attack, then you miss him and it hits the ground and then it works.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's what I did.
Oh, okay. I was like, but if you are shooting at him, technically he can deflect it.
Yes. Yep.
He can only do it once per reaction, though.
Yeah, so. And he has to expend a key point.
So. Right.
But which he ran out of. It didn't end well for him.
Yeah. Usually, if you run out of those as a monk, you're kind of screwed.
Useless. Yeah. No, not useless.
Not useless, but not great anymore. Mm-hmm. Monks at low level, I swear, do so much damage.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they can do their fury of blows or whatever it's called, and just, like, you'll be like, yeah, this guy's really strong. He's got a lot. He's dead. Yeah, he's just dead. Like, especially if they have, like, a spear or something. They do spear, unarmed strike, and you're like, well, there goes his whole health bar. So...
I really like the ability. I just lost my train of thought completely. I really like that ability, the Fury of Blows.
Yeah.
But I also really enjoy the Stunning Strike.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
It's like, boom, ha, suck it.
No actions for you.
You're not doing anything anymore.
All right. Well, now that we've decided. Tangented for so long about that one.
Well, what do you mean? We're perfectly the me. It's still D&D. It's not like we're talking about Airsoft anymore.
Yeah. Anyways, what's your question?
Did we go over fight balancing?
Not really. We kind of just went over like bosses and stuff like that.
Yeah. So the balancing of the fights.
There was something I was going to say about bosses, but I forgot what it was.
Did we really not go over balancing?
No.
Man, I thought we brushed over it a little bit, but hey, whatever.
I mean, we've dabbled in it of like how to not. It was because we were talking about having 10 players and how to not murder them all, but not make it so boring. That's what we were talking about. Yeah.
So the way I balance the fight for that, because I really think it's important for new DMs and even experienced DMs and even players to think about, is how many combatants you have on the field, what level all the combatants are on the field, and you can always homebrew change monsters, and it's always good to do that to fit that challenge. So I was talking about previously how the Witch Hunt campaign, you have 5 players and you're all level 4. And you guys, I threw a Death Tyrant at you.
Yeah, we should have died.
Yeah, but
so
it was...
The thing I was thinking about is, this kind of goes into one of my questions about improvising. Watching you DM is very different than how I like to DM. So when I'm DMing a fight, I'm like, all right, unless it starts going really bad or like they're just easily mopping this enemy that I didn't want them to easily mop, I'm going to adjust it a little bit then. But usually if I set something up, I'm like, you guys just have to figure out how to do this. I'm giving them the challenge. We're watching you, it's like, shoot, they're one-shotting everything. Everything now has 3 times as much health. Or like...
So the reason it's not per se the health jacking, I take things that have a health pool that look big, and then I just take away their like attack abilities, or I lessen them a little bit. I try and scale it down. I like a large health pool because it gets a couple of rounds in.
Yeah. I think the one thing that you have to incorporate now is like, you have the health, but taking away the attacks makes it kind of feel like that just like standing there and slapping each other fight.
Well, it wasn't so taking apart the attacks as it was, because I did use a special ability or two. I just didn't use the full force of it. Right. I lessened its damage, and I think that's important to scale the damages, sometimes not scale the damages.
Yeah. I think it's fun, at least in my opinion, it is fun to have a fight where a couple of you are going down.
Yeah.
Like, if you're on that line of, like, holy cow, we might lose this fight, that's the, like, gripping, engaging ones.
Yep.
When you show up and you just stab someone in the back and they die every time, it's like, well, I mean, it's fun.
And that's
but...
the last fight that you guys had, the little bit of a boss one.
Yeah.
I tried to put someone on their ass.
Yeah.
And I don't remember who I tried to do. I think it was you and
you
Nick.
almost killed me. Yeah.
I think it was you and Nick that I tried to put down.
Yeah.
And then I just didn't get to it.
Yeah. I think what would have helped that fight a lot would have been those boss mechanics of, like, all right, in one round, this is going to do this.
Yep.
That's what I remembered what I was going to say about bosses, is if you have recurring enemy types, like bosses, say like a monster of some sort, right? Have them have the same attack and it does the same area. So that way your players can remember a fight and then predict what that enemy's going to do. And that'll start giving them more things to think about during the fight and be like, all right, last time we fought this monster, it did this. It's probably going to do this again. I have to plan around that.
That would be really cool.
Yeah.
Yep. And I also really like wave combat.
Yes, that's
going wave by wave.
That's pretty fun too.
And
are you talking about, like, all right, all the players go, all the enemies go, or are you talking about, like, this group goes and this group goes and this group goes?
Kind of both. So the way I like to do it now is with that group of 10, I just let the players go first. I take half, let them go. I take half the enemies, let them go, and I just split it up. Don't get me wrong, I still have them roll for initiative to determine
which half goes when. Okay.
Well, not only what half goes when, but say I take the 5 highest rollers, and then I take the 5 highest rollers of my combat. So it's always the wave back and forth.
Yeah.
But on top of that, what I really like is they're going into the battle, they're doing wave by wave, then they're done with that battle, and then they're going on to the next battle.
Oh, I see.
So
kind of like almost like a video game of, like, tower. Like climbing a tower.
Fights. Like almost a dungeon crawler kind of thing. And I really think that's because it really makes them think, okay, it's just faced this.
It's a resource drainer too.
Yeah.
Like, all right, how many spell slots do I want to use in this fight? Because I know there's another one.
You have no idea how many there's going to be. You'd have no idea. And I ended up picking them off one by one.
Yeah, I think... So the campaign that I'm planning, I think that's similar to what I'm going to do, because I plan on having, like, at least one big war scene, and, like, you're going to be like, all right, we're fighting this area. Okay, we won. What's next? You used all your spell slots. There's another group coming at you. What are you going to do now?
Yeah.
And I think that just...
Martial characters for the win. I'm going to punch it.
But how? Because, like, they're running up. There's also, like, a catapult, and that's gonna take out, like, this strip of land.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just a martial character guy. I
deflect missile.
Kaboom.
Yeah, but, like,
would that work on a catapult?
I would have to look into that one. I'd have to read what
they work on bows, don't they?
Yeah, it works on arrows. Yeah. I don't know about.
I think it would work.
let me
look that up real quick, because.
But continue. Like, that's just kind of like. I'm really enjoying thinking of combat as, like, how can I incorporate these fun video game mechanics of, like, bosses having these special attacks that you have to dodge into a game. And it's like, give them a round. You have one round before this spot sucks. Or make it in difficult terrain or things to hide behind, stuff like that.
It makes it a little bit more of a challenge when not all of your players are in person.
Yes.
Because I really like the idea of a big old table map that, you know, you could place, like, a clear plastic that's shaded green or red. Like, I'm going to put this right here. You have one turn to get out of this.
I have a dry erase map.
I have a lot of them.
Well, it has a grid on it too.
Yes.
Them too. And you can just take a dry erase marker. This area is going to get hit. And that's also really
But the problem that I was coming into is not all of my players were in person.
Oh.
They were online.
Yeah.
So I couldn't properly get the view of the battle map that I had on the table to the players online on Discord. And I was really struggling with that. And then I just started, you know what, I'm going to use it as slides. So I started using Google Slides, and I had everyone, all right, move up to where you wanted to go. I'll tell you which of the enemies you're trying to slash at or attack, and then that's your action. And then my players online could also move their circle. So that worked pretty well.
So looking at deflect missile, right? Starting at level 3, you can use your reaction to deflect or catch a missile when you are hit by a ranged attack, weapon attack. When you do so, the damage you take from the attack is reduced by 1d10 plus your dexterity plus your monk's level. So the catapult might still kill you.
Might?
Yeah,
it
will. Well, it depends what level you are. I mean, if you're like level 15, you might take one shot from a catapult. I don't know how much they actually do, but
yeah. A lot.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's like 48 or something.
If you reduce the damage to 0, you can catch the missile if it is small enough for you to hold in one hand.
Like an arrow.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. You have to have at least one free hand. If you catch the missile in this way, you can spend 1 key point to make a ranged attack with the weapon or a piece of ammunition that you just caught.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Gosh.
As the same part of the reaction.
I can't wait to play a monk. So
you make the attack with proficiency regardless of the weapon.
So speaking of classes, this is one of the plot points that I really wanted to talk about today. What class do you think needs to be overhauled the most?
I know a lot of people say monk and a lot of people say ranger, but I know you really like ranger.
I don't think ranger's bad.
Yeah.
I do think it needs some work.
It does need a little work. I do, however, really like the favorite enemy thing of like picking, okay, this thing I'm really good at hunting, and if you collaborate with your DM, that can be really strong.
Yes.
And I think it's just something that people overlook a lot.
Yep.
Monk, I like monk. I mean,
monk is monk.
Yeah. I mean, at low levels, you're just this powerhouse. Like, you'll do more damage than a barbarian sometimes.
Yeah.
And you could just weave in and out of fights, kind of like a rogue does. Like, I don't know. It's just, I feel like monk is kind of a class that gets made fun of a lot, but I really enjoy them. I think they just fall off later, and that's why.
I don't think that ranger falls off. It can, but to have something that, I mean, ranger, you're gonna be, if you're playing a ranger, you might as well just be bow and arrow.
Yeah.
Like,
well, the thing is with rangers, they made it weird where you can use like swords and daggers and spears and all that, which I'm not opposed to, but when a fighter can just pick up a bow and be a better ranger than a ranger is, that's when it's like, okay, why?
I think that if you're going to be a ranger, that the fighting styles should be changed to ranger, and if you're going to be a fighter, it should be more melee.
Yeah.
I think there should be a clear distinction of that path.
I think that fighters should have ranged options.
Yes.
Like javelins, slings.
No, don't get me wrong. Not
like
take away like the things that the actual class is proficient in, but just take away that fighting style.
Yeah. I think crossbows should be more fighters, and rangers should be more bows. Yep. Also, I looked up catapult's damage. It's 8d10.
Oh.
So it's an average of 44 bludgeoning damage. So you can tank that.
I could take that.
I mean, I'd say like level 6, you could possibly tank, because you're reducing it by...
What, a d10?
10 plus your proficiency plus your monk level. So you're reducing it by like 15, we'll say.
Yeah, level 6, you're at a level 3 proficiency, so that's not, you're taking 19 damage off.
Yeah, so you could tank the hit.
Yeah.
You just wouldn't be able to throw it back.
What do you mean? The shot puts the catapult back.
Yeah. But realistically, yes, you could tank the trebuchet shot.
I think that the ranger should have a little bit more... Their concentration, you take Hunter's Mark, and how you actually need to concentrate that with a bonus action makes no sense in the new change. Because if you said that fighters should have crossbows,
right?
But then fighters are just a better ranger again because crossbows do more damage.
Well, the caveat to that is they should take reload time. They should take an action to reload the crossbow, where a ranger shouldn't.
Yeah,
because that's what their thing is. They can use
are reloads bonus actions?
No,
they're full actions
unless you're proficient.
Ooh.
So that's why I was like, crossbows makes a lot of, like, if you're a fighter and you have a big sword and a crossbow on your back, that makes sense because you switch, you get your shot off, and then you're going back in with your sword.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that. That makes total sense. But if you're like a ranger and you're like, okay, I do want a crossbow, if you're proficient with it, I'll give you a bonus action to reload. Yeah. If you're not, you're taking an action to reload.
Yep. I mean, rangers are proficient in martial and simple weapons. Same with fighter. Yeah. So either way, you're going to be proficient with your crossbow. Are you going to take that reload down to a bonus action, being proficient with it, or do you need the actual feat, the crossbow feat?
See, I would say how I would do it is I would give rangers the ability to do it as a bonus action just for being a ranger.
Just for being a ranger.
But then if you're a fighter, you would have to take that feat.
Yeah, because it's crossbow expert. I'm pretty sure crossbow expert says that
I can look it up
takes
quick.
away the reload. You don't have to use an action. I could be wrong. It could be bonus action, but it would make the most sense.
Let's see what it says.
So I think ranger, it doesn't get the love that it deserves.
No, it does not.
But it holds a special place in my heart because I really like the bows.
You ignore the loading quality of crossbows.
Yeah.
With which you are proficient. So you have to be proficient with the crossbow, and then it gets rid of the action to do it.
So as long as you have your action, your bonus action. But the thing with the crossbow, with the ranger, is even if you have it as a bonus action, if you wanted to use something like Hunter's Mark, and then you had to use concentration, which concentration is bonus actions.
Concentration, I think it's a bonus action to
keep it up.
Is it a bonus action to keep it up?
So it's usually, if I'm not mistaken, Hunter's Mark is one action, and then it's a concentration after that. So you cast it, and some spells are like casting time of a minute. It's like, there's no way.
Yeah.
No way.
I think those spells, the casting time, I feel like should be if you're out of combat.
Yes, for
because
sure.
If your casting time's a minute, that's like, what, 6 rounds of combat?
6 rounds of combat.
Which,
you don't even make it to 6 rounds of combat.
That is fine if you're doing a guard this person while they're casting a spell thing, right?
Yeah.
So, like, if your objective is to, like, hold off this horde of things coming at you, and if they hit the guy, he has to make a Constitution saving throw for his Constitution or his concentration. That's a fun fight.
You know, it would make sense if the casting time, instead of using an action on it, is a bonus action of it. Maybe that's it.
What do you mean?
If you're sitting there, you're casting the spell. So the initial, I'm going to cast this. I'm going to start the casting. That's going to be one action.
Okay.
But every turn after that, you can still use an action, but you have to use your bonus action to continuously cast.
So you have to use your, like, you can still do something, but while you're doing that, you have to.
Yeah. I'm going to cast. I don't think you'd be able to cast another spell, but if you have like a bow or something, or like a dagger, you can go up, hit something, and use your bonus action.
Yeah, you just have to be careful because if you get hit, you have to roll.
You break your concentration.
You roll Constitution, and if it fail it, then it breaks.
Is it Constitution or is it your spell attack? Your spell DC.
It's Constitution.
Is it?
Yeah. You roll saving throw.
Save?
Yep.
It's weird.
Well, you have to think you're resisting. Like, if you get hit, you're like resisting the.
No, that makes sense. I was just thinking more on the magic side of it, where you're using your whatever your casting ability is.
Yeah, I think it's.
I mean, you're more likely right.
No, I'm trying to think of the DC that you have to make. I think it's just 10, and it goes up by 1 each time you get hit.
Yeah,
that's what it is. So it starts at 10, and then each time you're hit, it's like, okay, now it's 11, now it's 12. So the more you get hit, the harder it is to save.
If the reload aspect and the concentration for Hunter's Mark didn't collide, I think Ranger would be a hell of a lot better.
Yeah.
Because Ranger, range, tracking, all that stuff.
Right.
It's a great class to have when you're doing a lot of exploration of the world.
Yeah.
It's really useless in a city.
Yes. Although you can make it fun if you use it, like if you're tracking someone in a city.
Yes.
You can make it fun that way. But
yeah. I don't know. I really like Ranger, but I definitely think it still needs the most overhaul.
I agree. I think they've done it dirty for so long.
Oh, yeah.
But regardless of them doing it dirty, you can make it fun. You just have to collaborate with your DM. Just like everything.
Just like everything else.
If you have an idea, you just need to talk it out with your DM.
Mm-hmm.
And they can make it fun for you. And if you're not having fun, being like, hey, this is like not what I expected. How can we change that? Or, hey, this isn't fun for me. I feel like just making a new character. How can I die? And that can be really fun.
That can be really fun. Because as a DM, you're like, you're not dying.
Well,
I hold your soul.
How can you die? Like, what's a good story beat to leave my character off?
Yeah.
Like, stuff like that. It's fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that can be fun with all the classes.
Yeah. And
it works really well if you have a group that all the classes bounce off of each other too.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Segue into something else. Yeah, I know. We have to cut some stuff out though. It's fine.
You think we're editing this? This is great content.
Yeah. An hour rant.
We just can't. We don't know how to edit.
We'll talk for a little longer.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. I mean, I could post an hour and a half long episode on YouTube. That's legal.
Yeah, I mean, you can go up to like 12 plus.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we just have to be monetized.
Yeah.
Which we're not.
So the campaign that I'm planning, I was looking at that one book, and that gave me ideas of like, I don't even know if I want to do.
Did you get it?
No, not yet. No, I have not gotten the book, but briefly reading on it, it has a lot of like monsters, crafting, and tracking things, and I was like, that would be really cool to include those like boss fight mechanics where, oh, this type of monster attacks with these ways, right? And it gives you things to remember. It also gives tracking, which if like, you know, there's a monster terrorizing the city, you have to go track it down. Like, that could be a fun plot point.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't know if I can really... I don't know, because my idea of the campaign was kind of like a Crusaders type thing, and now I'm like, giant monsters. So, you know, I'm trying to figure out how to...
Crusading the giant monsters.
Right.
You're purging the demons out.
I have an idea of how I'm going to make it work.
Yeah. I'm really excited for that campaign.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for my character.
Yeah, your character. Well, see, that's why if we get this book, it also adds monsters and...
cook them.
Yeah. 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 But I don't know. It should be a good time. And I think the way I'm going to add it will work with my story beats. And I'll get more into this when I start posting the videos of like building the campaign, writing plot points, making the maps and all that. And like, I don't know how much I want to tell you about it because you're going to be a player. But I think the way it's going to work out is going to be really nice.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, either way, all of us that's currently subscribed to the channel are players.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So don't watch my video.
Yeah.
Or do, you know, I'll
give me views and subscribe and like and comment and all that crap.
I'll just put like hey, if you're actually playing in this campaign, don't watch this part.
Or post it after we hit that part.
Yeah.
But then we're not posting any videos.
Yeah. So I'll just tell you guys what parts not to watch to avoid spoilers.
Watch these ones.
Or if you do watch it, just be mindful of that when you go into the campaign. Be like, all right, I know this because of the video, and I don't want to just make it useless, you know.
I think one of the next episodes that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to film me going through my D&D binder.
Oh,
because I have it all organized for my current setup, and I'm going
to
show
notes?
them Mordecai. I do.
What?
For my player. I'm a player.
Yes. Yeah.
For the DM, I don't do notes. What do you? I could make notes, and you guys next session will do something completely the opposite. I don't make notes.
Yeah.
No, I do have some stuff that's like, these are gonna happen. Like I have random encounters that are kind of set up.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, you're gonna be attacked. You just don't know when.
I plan on going pretty in depth with this campaign and like making a lot of like the map and putting a lot of place markers in there for things.
I'm going to make my map here soon.
I think
because I need to.
Yeah.
For the next session.
Yeah, you should record that.
I won't.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know how. This is all new software to me. I don't even know how to edit things yet.
Yeah.
Voiceover and
all
that stuff.
You'd pretty much just... I'll tell you later, actually. Never mind.
Well, yeah. That would be a different tangent that's not D&D related.
No, not
and
at
we
all.
don't do that. We do it all the time.
Yeah. But yeah, I think good talk.
Yeah, so welcome everybody to the channel.
Yep.
Thanks for joining us for our first podcast. We almost made it to an hour long. That's bad. I'm kidding. That's perfect.
Yeah, I mean...
Perfect.
It's a perfect listen to while you're driving thing, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's a trip to Lansing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Someone sponsor us. That's going to be the main thing is begging for sponsorship, you know?
This has been Tabletop Trolls. I've been Colin, and this has been Tommy.
Yep. Raycon sponsor us.
Probably not going to happen.
Someone sponsor us.
Yeah, probably not.
It won't.
No.
Thank you to Colin's sister for making the background art here. If anyone else sends in art.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, anyone sends in art, we can put on our little podcast here, because right now we've only just got the one. We should do the raw sketches too.
Yes,
we have some of the raw sketches from that.
Yeah.
If we put some of those in there too to kind of spice it up, change it every now
and have a video of the process.
Yep.
That'd be cool.
If anyone has pictures of their characters or something that they've drawn up that they want us to put in here, send them. We'll have an email link that they can send things to.
Yeah. If you put a little @ on it with your tag.
Yep, your watermark.
Yeah.
We'll put it on there. All right. Thanks again, everybody.
Yep.
We'll catch you next time.